So welcome again, everyone, to the January 27th edition of 2016 of our Launchpad Webinar Series with SEO5 Consulting. Like I mentioned, with you today is Darren Edward, the Online Marketing Manager with SEO5 Consulting. So today we'll quickly go through the agenda of today's webinar. So like each month, we'll review the latest news and articles within the industry that are affecting your websites and potential clients' websites. And then at the end, we'll hold a quick Q&A session. So if you do have any questions, please use the chat box within GoToWebinar. We will be able to address any questions at the end of the webinar today. So without further ado, let's look at the recent updates that have taken place within the industry within January and which closed out the year in 2015. So the biggest announcement that has taken place so far in January is that Google has now integrated the Panda update into their core ranking algorithm. What this means is that Google Panda, which used to be just an update to the algorithm, which focuses on content quality, is now been integrated as a core ranking algorithm. So anytime Google updates the ranking algorithm in the future, Panda is actually integrated into it. So now this means content is of utmost importance on a website, making sure that the keywords that you're trying to rank for on Google are highly relevant to the content on your page and valuable, whether that's been shared online, if you created a lot of backlinks. But ultimately, the key is the content on the page. Is it unique? Does it stand out? And does it provide value? So this rolled out actually within the second week of January 2016. Google made it part of the core ranking factor ranking algorithm. Google then confirmed the update at a conference, saying that Panda is an algorithm that's applied to sites overall and has become one of their core ranking signals. It measures the quality of a site, which you can read more about in their guidelines online. Panda allows Google to take quality into account and adjust ranking accordingly. So again, really focusing on the quality of content, the quality of the sites, really focusing. I know we've likely heard of multiple animals, whether it's panda, penguin, or hummingbird. Google did notify us, if you've attended our webinars previously in late in 2015, that Google did announce that there would be a penguin update taking place. That has yet to happen, but it is something that we are closely monitoring. Penguin focuses on backlink quality and linking quality of the websites and applies any penalties to sites that might have taken part in any black hat techniques or try to go against Google's guidelines in terms of linking and how they've advertised their website online, whereas Panda just focuses on the content quality of the website. Is there a good amount of quality content on the site? Is it unique? Is it relevant to the topics, to the keywords? And if it is, then Google will be ranking you favorably in their search results. A few key takeaways regarding this new update. So one, websites affected by Panda can still rank if they have pages of outstanding quality. So what this means is if you have a site that has low amount of content throughout the site, but you might have had a blog post or an infographic post that got a lot of viewership, it got a lot of page views, it's been shared online pretty frequently. This means that page will still be favored within Google and can still rank, but other pages and other pages on the site will see a bit of decline in terms of the ranking. Google went ahead and said that the Panda algorithm may continue to show such a site for more specific and highly relevant queries, but its visibility will be reduced for queries where the site owner's benefit is disproportionate to the user's benefit. So anywhere where a search has been taking place and that doesn't match with the website, it doesn't match with the content, or it's not valuable enough to the user, Google's not going to rank it as high as other sites that might provide a better response and better use to the user. If you're worried Panda, then you need to compare and contrast. So if you believe your site is affected by the Panda algorithm, in Search Console's Search Analytics feature, you could identify the queries which lead to pages that provide overly vague information or don't seem to satisfy the user need for a query. This could be reflected if you're working with a marketing company, if you if you're an existing client of ours, reach out to your account managers. We'll be able to look into your Google Search Console, identify, the queries and the landing pages, and which ones have a really low click-through rate, which ones aren't highly relevant, and which ones have high bounce rates. So even if they are being clicked on, if people aren't staying on the site or finding value in that, Google's going to pick up on that information and start ranking other sites ahead of yours. And lastly, build some new paths rather than trying to cover up your tracks. So instead of deleting those pages that aren't highly relevant or have low pieces of content, your goal should be to create pages that don't fall into that category. Create pages that provide unique value for your users who would trust your site in the future when they see it in the search results. So again, I think ultimately the key takeaway, the biggest takeaway out of this ranking algorithm is the importance of content on a website. If you're favorable to a lot of images on your site, a lot of interaction, videos, flash, definitely, there's definitely those key aspects in terms of engagement, keeping a user on your website. But ultimately, in terms of where you want to be found on Google, it comes down to content. Are you providing enough value and unique value on your website in providing a response to someone who's wanting to find your services? Are you explaining the services that you provide? Are you showing your key selling benefits of your company over your competitors? What makes your company stand out? And that's what Google's looking for in the content on your website. And that's what we're doing as marketers. We're ensuring that our clients have good descriptive content on their website. They're including call to actions throughout the site, and they're providing the answers with regards to the keywords that we've conducted research and aligned best with those pages on the website to ensure that the content that's used on that page is most relevant and is going to provide value to the user, because ultimately that's the importance. And that's, now that Google's made this change, it's definitely more important than ever. Another update recently that's taken place from Google is that Google has launched SMART goals for advertisers that don't have conversion tracking. So if you're running AdWords campaigns through pay-per-click, there's options for conversion tracking. So if you're a company looking for new form or new contacts, so people to fill out your contact form on your website, essentially what you should be doing is that you should have a thank you page set up on your website for any contact forms that are filled out. Once a user goes to your website, fills out a contact form, they're then directed to this thank you page. And on that thank you page, your developer or our developers can install a conversion tracking code. Now that conversion tracking code picks up on any completed contact forms that have come in through visits that originally started through Google pay-per-click, through Google AdWords searches. That's able to help your conversion tracking and measure the performance of your AdWords campaigns. Now, we've come across some clients that either one, they don't have thank you pages, two, if they're trying to track e-commerce, their checkout pages leads to a third-party page, so they're not able to put the conversion tracking code on their website to confirm that. So what Google's done is actually they've rolled out a new tool that's actually recently been launched and still going through beta testing for advertisers to implement SMART goals into their AdWords campaigns to help track conversions better when conversion tracking is limited on the website. So SMART goals are powered by Google Analytics and designed to help businesses that don't currently have a way to measure conversions and optimize their campaigns. Like I mentioned, there are thousands of advertisers in this position. So here's how Google explains SMART goals and how it works. So basically, to generate SMART goals, Google applies machine learning across thousands of websites that use Google Analytics and have opted in to share anonymized conversion data, which means, and if you've gone ahead and set up analytics accounts before, you know that there's a checkbox that you check and say, please share anonymous data with Google. And so this way, Google's able to use the data from thousands of Google Analytics accounts. Now, again, everyone's anonymous. It's not, they're not picking up on your specifics, but they're looking at all these sites as a whole. Then from this information, they can then distill dozens of key factors that correlate with the likelihood to convert. So things like session duration, pages per session, the location of the user, the device that they're using, and then the browser. They could then apply these key factors to any website. So the easiest way to think about SMART goals is that they reflect your website visits that model, that their machine model of SMART goals indicates are most likely to lead to conversions. So whether they've picked up on session data that visits that go over 3 minutes or 4 minutes are more likely to convert. Those that have viewed more than 3 pages on a website are likely to convert. If the user is searching from a local for a local service that are located where your business is found, again, very likely to convert. So again, I think this is one tool that's to help advertisers, but then also to help businesses understand the performance of your AdWords campaigns, especially when conversion tracking is lacking. Again, I think from my recommendation, definitely ensure that you do have conversion tracking and at least goal tracking set up in your Google Analytics. Those should be the first two main important points. And then if there are still limitations on your website, then definitely reach out to your AdWords manager and make sure that you can set up SMART goals. Again, it's being tested out right now by Google, but it should be rolled out within the next few months. So definitely, something to look into, especially if there's any challenges with your conversion tracking. Another update from Google is that Google Search will integrate AMP pages starting in February 2016, and this may lead to a potential ranking boost for sites that have these pages. So fast-loading pages using the AMP format, which stands for Accelerated Mobile Pages, will arrive early next year and may be designated as fast in search results. So the Google-backed AMP Accelerated Mobile Pages project gained more steam this month in January 2016 as Google announced that AMP pages will be integrated into its search engine by February 2016. And they're doing this as a way to increase page speed and to place more importance as page speed to likely provide a ranking boost over time. Now, through recent reports, especially conducted through Moz in terms of the ranking factors from Google, page speed is definitely a really high important factor. No matter what, for desktop searches, page speed is a really important factor with ranking. AMP is those mobile site pages that are going to load faster, so they don't have a lot of images on those pages. They allow those pages to load really quickly, and thus Google's looking into these pages as sites that could be shared more frequently on Google's top search results. From the announcement, there's two important tidbits to take away. One, AMP pages may get a ranking boost, and two, perhaps a fast label designation, similar to how Google currently shows labels for mobile-friendly pages. Both these points are purely speculative right now, but something that we're definitely closely monitoring. What this means, especially the second one, is those pages, if you're searching on a mobile device through Google and you're trying to find a website right now, you'll come across sites and underneath it'll say whether it's a mobile friendly page or not. What this is saying is that once they integrate the AMP pages into the mobile algorithm, there's potential that Google might start showing another label next to search results that would say fast. So letting people know that as soon as you click on that link, you're expected to have a pretty fast site load up. Again, whether this is going to be included, again, it's kind of speculative right now because are they going to put in signs for slow, signs for medium? We just don't know that at this time. So I think right now it's just speculative, but it's something that we are definitely monitoring. So one recent announcement that's been shared from an online article from Search Engine Watch was with regards to Google Analytics, and more specifically your universal analytics tracking codes. So Google has actually been rolling out the universal analytics steadily since its launch in 2012. And this year, Google has announced that the transfer of properties from Classic to universal analytics has been completed, meaning that Google had even automatically updated a lot of analytics accounts from Classic to Universal, but there's definitely some. I mean, they're not able to automate everyone's, especially those who are using the old Classic version of Google Analytics on your websites. So with Google announcing that the next stage would be its retiring of Classic Google Analytics, if your sites and apps are still using the old and outdated tracking codes and libraries, which would be classified as GA.js, you're going to be missing out on a whole host of features and developments that are only compatible with Universal Analytics. So you're going to be missing out on a lot of data that you're able to get with Universal Analytics. And if you're missing out on data, that definitely impacts, any marketing campaigns that you could be running. Really look into the assets on your website, how people are engaging on your website, where users are coming from, what type of users are on your site. So the Universal Analytics code is very valuable. Really important to have on your site. If you have logged into your analytics account and you have seen this check mark where it says property transfer complete, then you have Google has automatically updated this for you. But if you're still seeing that analytics needs to be updated, I would highly recommend going about updating your analytics to the Universal Analytics as soon as possible. Now, a few key benefits of migrating and fully adopting to Universal Analytics. So one, user IDs. So these actually allow you to associate multiple sessions, including any activity within those sessions, with the same user by a unique ID. So you could even classify one user going to the site by their specific ID and any sessions that they might have had on the website as they've gone through your pages. CRM data and measurement protocol. So Universal Analytics allows for Google Analytics measurement protocol on external digital devices, such as game consoles and point-of-sale terminals. So right now, if you look at two devices, Google's only reporting on mobile, desktop, and tablet devices. Anything outside of that, so if you're able to browse the internet through your PlayStation or Xbox, Google's not able to pick up on that, but Universal Analytics will be able to pick up on that and any point of sale terminals that might have visited the website as well. Search term exclusions. So any traffic that uses predefined excluded search terms will be classified as direct traffic and not organic search traffic. So this is really good in terms of any search terms that you want to remove that aren't valuable or relevant to your site. So any predefined excluded terms that you want to include into analytics, they wouldn't show up as organic traffic. So and you could even test this. So if you want to, not count brand searches on Google Analytics and just classify brand searches as direct traffic, you can include that in your search terms exclusions. So then anything else that shows up from organic search, is from keyword phrases, not using the brand name. Referral exclusions. So these allow you to block out any specific domains to be included in analytics. So if you're seeing some spam bot sites crawl your website and kind of skew your referral data, you could allow these domains to be excluded within the settings of Google Analytics as long as you have Universal Analytics set up on the website. Custom dimensions and metrics. So if your website has custom features which are not normally included within Google Analytics, you can collect and segment this data within the Universal Analytics interface. Session timeout. So historically, sessions expired after 30 minutes of inactivity, but with Universal Analytics, it allows sessions expirations to be set to match specific site requirements. So anything from 1 minute to 4 hours, you have control of how you set when a person has timed out on the website. And enhance e-commerce. So this allows you to incorporate changes to access controls and user permissions, definitely making them more refined, dynamic, and providing the ability to monitor activities of those with site privileges. So again, a lot more control, a lot more data, and a lot more control of the data that's coming in to the website when you have Universal Analytics. So definitely really important. Google's plan is to retire the classic analytics code this year. So if you haven't updated to Universal, definitely reach out to your webmasters to get this updated as soon as possible. Next is Goodbye Internet Explorer and Hello Microsoft Edge. This was a really great blog written by the experts at Moz.com over the last month, just giving an announcement that Internet Explorer is starting to be phased out, especially with the release of Windows 10. The general public can now use Microsoft Edge, which is Microsoft's new flagship web browser. Microsoft is striking out in new directions with Edge. They're deprecating Internet Explorer for all modern platforms. And why is this important from a business owner or a site owner or a webmaster or an online marketer? So Microsoft Edge is definitely a new beast compared to Internet Explorer. before, especially when you're building a website, you had to take into account all the different versions and compatibility of Internet Explorer when you're developing your site. So you had to go back to versions of IE9, IE8, IE7, IE10, and make sure that each users that could be potentially coming to your site are viewing your site properly when using those versions. There's a lot of challenges because you could code a site for Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox, which have a lot of updates and incorporate a lot of the plugins that new websites use. But Internet Explorer wouldn't update to that. So you would actually have to go and custom code the site so some features show up properly within Internet Explorer. With Microsoft Edge, it's now rendering properly. It's now a properly rendering engine inside of Internet Explorer, or how it started out. The rendering engine is pretty important since it's the lens through which your content has to pass. So much like the game telephone, this process can distort or degrade the experience the author intended by the time it gets to the end user. However, that was the challenge before with Internet Explorer, but like I mentioned with Microsoft Edge, it supports new standards. So it not only allows you to create great online experiences across all browsers, it also means that you won't need to do anything special to make your websites properly in Edge. So before, with the challenge of having to code your site in the multiple different versions of Internet Explorer, Microsoft has now eliminated that headache, and now you're able to, if you're coding a website, you could code the site following the same techniques as you would for Chrome, Firefox, and now Edge. You don't have to custom code the site. And especially because Google's starting to phase out Internet Explorer, I think one of the challenges for this and having to code a site in all the different versions was the people that are still tending and reliable on Internet Explorer. For a lot of systems, it is the default browser on their system. So whether they've heard of Chrome or Firefox, they use whatever's defaulted on their computer. So that's important as a business owner, knowing what devices people are using to come to your site, what versions of browser they're using to get to your site. So you know that, and you know what's the majority or where the high percentages of people viewing your site, and making sure that your site is viewed properly. You don't want to have a newly built website that's running perfectly on Chrome and Firefox, but then you find out that it wasn't coded properly for Internet Explorer 7, and a lot of your pages are not showing up properly. And you might have a high percentage of people viewing your site from Internet Explorer 7. The good thing is that that issue now is pretty much being phased out with the fact that Edge is now being taken over as Internet Explorer. Anyone who still has outdated versions of Internet Explorer will automatically be updated to Microsoft Edge. So again, we'll I think web developers will definitely find this very important, but very important for site owners to make sure that your site's compatible across all browsers. It's just now a bit easier with Microsoft Edge. So ComStats came out from ComScore recently in January, just on the totals from 2014 and 2015. The big notice was that Google was down 1 billion PC searches from 2014, but mobile volumes are really, really up from the previous year. And this has been evident throughout the year that we've seen for the first time ever in 2015, mobile searches surpassed PC searches, and by a high margin. So this is just showing, the market share. Again, Google's still the majority leader, followed by Microsoft sites with Bing, then Yahoo, Ask, and AOL. Microsoft's starting to see a bit of increase. Where a year ago it was at 19.7% of the overall share in the market, whereas today it's 21.1%. However, these data tell only part of the story because they don't include mobile search. So again, only desktop data. Really going to be interesting to see once mobile data comes out. So we'll be keeping everyone informed, especially with the mobile algorithm update that took place in 2015. A huge reliance on ensuring that you have a mobile-friendly site, but that's something that Google's been pushing towards, and because of them seeing in their data that they're getting so many increases of mobile searches taking place, the importance again is showing that making sure that you have a mobile website and that's compatible. Ideally, the best thing is a responsive website that works in all browsers, all devices, mobile or desktop. And one last thing, one last slide today, and I wanted to include this slide because it's definitely important in line with the Google algorithm update that now has Panda as a core algorithm. Like I mentioned previously, content is as important as ever now. And so this I want to outline if you're running any SEO campaigns or you're interested in running any SEO campaigns, is really understanding the content and the needs of how you can align the content on your website, any content that you'll be publishing, whether through white papers, blogs, articles, press releases, and really help your website be found in Google. So there's three key methods for just defining your SEO content needs. So the first is analyze search results, and this is pretty standard across the industry, and how we start with our keyword research is reviewing search results. Now this may seem obvious, but one way to get a better picture of your content needs is to take a look at the search results themselves. By searching potential titles, keyword phrases, and content topics, you can begin to understand what's out there, what's being asked, and more importantly, search intent for your target keywords. So a lot of our research looks into the average search volumes on a monthly basis, but then what's relevant to your content, what's relevant to your services, what have other people written about online, and what are people searching for. So looking at your Google Search Console's report in terms of the search queries that people are conducting in finding your site, looking into your analytics to see which pages of your website are being searched the most and being found the most and are getting the most sessions on your website, and then seeing how you could expand. So how else could you be found online? And the best way to do that is analyzing search results. Second is evaluating existing content. So first off, start by evaluating what content is currently working or not working on the website. So like I mentioned, use Google Analytics. You could identify what content resonates best and how customers are interacting with your site and what are they seeing before making a purchase or filling out a form. So really look at your existing content and how people are engaging on the site. If you have a page with a lot of content on the site that has a good search ranking, but it's not leading to any conversions or it's not leading to any value to the website, if the average time on the page is less than, I'd say, a minute or 2 minutes, are people really engaging on that page? And that allows you to review and see what content needs to be updated, and or vice versa. If you see a page that's getting a lot of page views, a lot of time on the site, you know that that content's working, and reflect kind of using that as a benchmark for any other pages of content on your website that need to be updated to ensure that you're engaging with users, to ensure that you're providing them with a solution and ensuring that they're able to reach out to you and work with you, whether it's through a contact form or purchasing a product on your website. And lastly is assess customer needs. So this may not be, and ideally this is by speaking with your clients and speaking with the customer. And sure, it may not be physically picking up the phone and talking to them. However, we do encourage you to do that. But by utilizing several tools such as customer surveys, live chat functionality, and online user testing tools. Especially if you're in a B2B space, tap your salespeople to uncover prospective customers' most frequently asked questions. So find out what people are asking about. Find out what are some challenges that they're having with your website. Find out what's the most pressing issue or problem that people are coming to your site or to your business or to your salespeople to find out more about your business. So then you can use that information and to either provide an FAQ page on your website. Do you have to write a blog about one recurring challenge that you're seeing from your customers and include a solution as a blog post? That'll be very valuable. Look at customer surveys, see how people are rating you online. Look at your reviews on Google, on Yelp, on Better Business Bureau. See how people are interacting with your salespeople or with you on social media. If you have a live chat functionality on your website, see how many times people are using the live chat. What are the most frequently used questions? And online testing tools. So test your website, test the compatibility of your website, test how your site's being shown, and then get reviews online. Find out what people are saying about your website, and use that information to help you define what content is needed on the website and to help you be found even more so online through Google searches. So I think this was a really valuable article. This was posted on Search Engine Land, but I think it ties in really well with the new Panda algorithm update that's now part of Google's core ranking algorithm. And really important to find the content, look at what you need on your website, and then work with your marketers, work with your internal teams to make sure that you're drafting that content, to make sure that each page of your website is providing valuable content to your users. And in the end, you'll start seeing more searches take place and your rankings improve, and obviously the traffic will increase as well. Oh. I was just going to go into the Q&A session, but just closed up on me. So a little bit about SEO5 Consulting before we go into the Q&A. So we've been an industry pioneer since 1999 with a team of over 50 plus internet marketing professionals. We're certified in Google and Market Motive across our staff. We've serviced over 1,000 clients worldwide. We're active participants in SEO conferences across North America. Our management team has over 50 years of marketing experience with clients in over 50 different vertical industries. We've generated over 1 million leads across different industries, and our marketing campaigns have generated over $80 million in online sales. So now I'll open the floor if there are any questions posed, anything that might have stood out to anyone. Feel free to ask at this time. Okay. Doesn't seem like there was any questions posted throughout the webinar. Wait a few minutes if there are any questions. Okay, great. If you do have any questions, please reach out to us. Contact information is below, so info@SEO5consulting.com, or call us toll free at 1-888-759-4112, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But I want to thank everyone again for your attendance today for the SEO5 webinar for January 2016. Really appreciate everyone making it out today. I hope the winter storms have now completed. I hope everyone's able to get out of the snow safely if you have been affected. And definitely look forward to the next webinar taking place in February. We'll be sending out invites to all registered members. But thank you once again. This is Darren Edwards signing out with SEO5 Consulting. Have a great day, everyone.